Episode 4155, Celebrate Your Spouse.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're having a fabulous weekend. Are you getting some good football in? Come on, it's preseason. I know I'm watching it too, but today is all about the person you're sleeping with. It's time to celebrate your spouse. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. They keep it simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. Well, before we get too far in, I just have to give a shout out to my husband. Yes, it's Relationship Builder, so it's all about the person you're sleeping with. And this weekend, we get to celebrate 33 years together, 36 and a half years combined with our dating and marriage. It's incredible. And I'm just sitting there scratching my head going, how can this be? Where does time go? Right. And sometimes I think we just kind of live that way. Like, oh, wasn't it just yesterday? And I've been traveling, so I haven't been able to get out the old photos and look, because we decided, little skinny on our wedding, we decided, I believe it was like April-ish, that we were going to get married in August. We had a very, very short window because of when my husband was graduating, when I was graduating, which I'd already graduated, but trying to fit this all in because he was on his way to postgraduate school and what that looked like and squeezing everything in. It was a lot. There was a lot. So I had a very, very short span of time to plan anything. But let me tell you, it was the most beautiful wedding ever. I remember every bit of it. A lot of brides say, oh, I don't remember half of what happened. Who was even there? No, I can tell you who was at my wedding. I can tell you the songs that we had done. We had 7 or 8 of them, actually. I know we had a lot of music at our wedding. But in all of that, I think it's an important reminder that even though time feels so short, we still have to learn how to come around each other as if we're dating again, as if we are, oh my goodness, exploring and being curious of one another. So I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you actually celebrated your spouse? Not on their birthday or some anniversary like ours. Happy anniversary, honey. I love you to the moon and back always for eternity. 33 years, 36 and a half years and counting. Yes, Lord bless it. And, even though they're fun to celebrate, right? We don't need those mandated calendar holidays where Hallmark says, remember, you got to get something. You got to buy a card. You got to get a gift, right? So when the jewelry commercials come up or they end up in your reel, this is a random, ordinary, nothing special kind of day when you look at the person doing life beside you and that you're sleeping with and you say, I see you, babe, and I'm grateful. Celebrate your spouse. Now, if you had to think about it, you're not alone. You're probably going, now, Christiane, I'm really scratching my head. We love our spouses deeply. We do. And I really believe that we want what's best for our relationship. But a lot of times, the people closest to us become the easiest to overlook. They do. Let's just be real. Not because we stop caring, but because life gets loud. The kids need something, work demands more, you're moving or you're traveling, the house needs attention, been there, done that like 1,000 times. Dinner needs to happen, right? We can't forget about the dinner dishes and dogs. And somewhere between the school pickup line and the last load of laundry, we forget that the person handing us the folded towels is also the person who chose us. And, oh, by the way, and keeps choosing us, right? Every single day. We don't mean to take them for granted, but it happens because life happens. So I want us to slow down for a minute. I want you to really think about how you celebrate your spouse. What does that even look like? So let's look at the word for a minute. We hear the word celebrate and we tend to think big, right? A party, a toast, a grand gesture, right? Somebody's graduating from school or something's happening, even a celebration of a brand new job. But the word itself simply means to acknowledge something with praise or attention, to honor, to make known. When you think about it that way, that shifts everything, doesn't it? because celebration doesn't require a venue or a budget. But in our mind, it does. We think, oh, we got to celebrate. Okay, I got to get a cake. I got to get balloons. I got to get, all of these things start. For me, it's Lay's, which means a really big order from Hawaii. So I have to plan well in advance. And all of a sudden, you've got a to-do list and not a heart list. Ooh, yeah, that's not for real. But you see, celebration, what it really needs, it requires attention. Awareness. It requires you to pause long enough in the middle of the ordinary to recognize what and who is right in front of you. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 29 says, "Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all." And husbands, Ecclesiastes 4:9 reminds us, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. These aren't words that we just kind of say, okay, it only matches up for these particular occasions, right? Therefore, our everyday, ordinary night at the kitchen table, for that Saturday morning over coffee, maybe even for right now. Celebration in the context of marriage is simply choosing to notice out loud. So why don't we do it more often? Why don't we? Why don't you? I've been asking myself this question, hence 33 years of marriage, 36 and a half years together. I'm thinking, when was the last time? Well, I can tell you now. Shh, don't say anything. I've got a surprise for him. It's golden. And I might tell you a little bit about it later. But first, he has to get it, just in case if he listens. Every once in a while, he pops in. So I'm never sure if he's listening or not. I love you, sweetheart. But I can't spill the beans quite yet. But it's one of those things where you want to do something that's sweet. And it's not really always because of something, right? But you want to do it in the times where it's not because of something. And when we are not willing to look at where we are in our everyday, we miss it, right? And we don't mean to, but we have to understand that everything that we're doing within our marriage requires intentionality, specifically celebrating our spouse. And intentionality takes effort when you're running on fumes. And quite frankly, when you're dealing with the dinner dishes and dogs, you're running on fumes. You are. And if you got kitty cats in there and you got a gecko to boot, at one point, I can remember one time. Okay, I got to tell you, story time. So we were living in Kentucky, I believe, at this time. And we had 3 dogs, 3 cats, 2 geckos. And we had to feed the geckos, not just little pebble food that you could throw in. No. Live crickets. Yes. Okay. Well, my son wanted them and I'm like, okay, we can do this. Not the crickets, the wonderful little geckos. And I'm like, okay, fine. We can do this. We got this. So I would have to go every week or week and a half or so to buy crickets. And the whole thought of, oh my goodness, one's going to get out or whatever. I'm like, I don't want crickets all over my house. Which is interesting, right? So you have all of these things, all these 4-legged creatures. Plus I had 5 kids at the time, right? The oldest was a freshman in high school at the time, all the way down to itty bitty preschool. Okay, 8 years between them. There was a lot happening in our house. Oh, wait. And then wait, there's a spouse too. I'm supposed to take care of them. Yeah, this is what real life looks like. Right? You're sitting there trying to feed the gecko a live cricket, which you really don't want to, knowing that, okay, I've got to prepare the lasagna. I need to go get cheese and run to the store because we ran out the night before. I forgot about it. Plus I have to go pick up the kids, get 2 of them to activity. Now all of a sudden you're lost and you wonder why you're exhausted. You're running on fumes. That's the real world, right? That is what's happening in our life. But here's the quiet truth. Okay, listen up. The marriages that thrive aren't the ones with the grandest gestures. They're the ones with the most consistent small ones. The ones where both people feel seen, not just on the highlight reels, but in the ordinary rhythm of life. Maybe it's the quick grab of a coffee. Maybe it's a sweet text message. Maybe it's a voice message that you sent via text out of the blue. No, do not schedule them, by the way. It is ridiculous. Take time to do it. And yes, if you're like, what? You can schedule them? Yeah, just pretend I didn't say anything. But yeah, believe it or not, you can schedule out your text. You can. Don't do it though, especially if it's going to your spouse. Now, if it's a reminder, that's okay. Like a calendar reminder, fine, go do that. But I'm talking about the intimate part of building a deeper relationship. Okay. That's where I want you to focus on the intentionality there. Maybe it's going and grabbing some ice cream, maybe going and grabbing just a small pizza. Why? Because you can together. Maybe it's a walk in the park. There's this beautiful pond around us, and I love it when the geese fly in, and I just love to walk around it. It's just so soothing. My husband, on the other hand, he's not so keen on walking around the pond. Why? Because it's outside. He's not so much of an adventurous one in the outdoors. No, he's not. He's not that. And I love him anyway. But when he does want to walk with me, it's like, oh, I've been seen. He knows I just want some time with him. Just him holding hands, walking around a pond and seeing the geese. Not really exciting. Doesn't cost any money. But what does it require? 2 intentional hearts brought together. So how do you get there? How do you move from accidentally overlooking to intentionally celebrating? Well, you got to celebrate on purpose. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Celebrate on purpose. Not because you have to, because Hallmark tells you to, or because a commercial tells you to, or because your mom-in-law called you and reminded you and said, oh, and by the way, no. It's recognizing and loving your spouse in the moment, in the craziness, in all of life. Because why? You can and you choose to. So how do you recognize your spouse now? Oh, I know you're like, Christiane, I didn't want you to ask me that question. I know, I get it. Sometimes I don't want to ask myself that question. Why? Because we have to think about it. We have to think, okay, when was the last time I celebrated and how did I celebrate? Maybe it's cooking their favorite meal, something as simple as that. Maybe it's the reverse. You did dinner, but then they go and do the dishes, right? That's fabulous, whatever it is. But you want to be able to recognize your spouse in a manner that isn't habitual and it's still special. Oh, you're like, that takes work. Exactly. Marriage takes work. It's important that we invest our hearts into marriage. If you want to last, well, I'm working on 33 now plus years. Woohoo. So you got to keep moving. You've got to be intentional. You got to sometimes change things up, right? So what would it look like if you made celebrating your spouse a regular part of your life? Not because something extraordinary happened, but because they are extraordinary to you. Ooh. Yeah, because your spouse is extraordinary to you. They stood out, and that's why you said yes. That's when you came together and said, I do, and now it's we do. So what does it look like in real life? Number 1, speak it and be specific. It's one thing to say, thanks for everything you do, babe. It's another to say, I noticed you stayed up late to finish that project, and I just want you to know it didn't go unnoticed. Specific words land differently. Right? I mean, you can hear the difference. Thanks for everything you do. That's like, oh, okay, whatever, right? Thanks for brushing your teeth. Thanks for, bringing home the bacon. Thanks for, it could be anything, right? Thanks for taking out the trash. But when you say, I noticed that you worked so hard to finish that project, and I just wanted you to know, I noticed. You're amazing. It lands differently, right? They tell your spouse, guess what? I was paying attention. You matter enough for me to notice the details. When was the last time you noticed the details? Men, listen up. If you're listening, and I'm telling you the truth here, if your wife gets a new shade of lipstick, don't just look at her and say, oh, you look beautiful today. If you know there's something different, say, babe, I just noticed something. Your lips look so juicy. I don't know that I've seen that color on you, but you look amazing. I just want to kiss you. Wink and walk away. Oh, let me tell you, she's going to be like, oh, he noticed. Because you see, here's the thing. Women, we like to tell our stories, don't we? We'll tell our stories 10 times, 20 different ways. Notice the calculation there. I did that on purpose. Because within those 10 times we're telling the story, it duplicates itself sometimes. So it's like double the amount. Men, it's like, give me as little as you can so I get the gist so I can move on next. So men, pay attention. Your words matter to us as women. Now, I will also say on the flip side, if you have a very sensitive, loving spouse, words matter to them too. So women, come on, we got to pay attention too. And if we want them to use words with us, we need to use words with them. So the more you interact and you show, right, you start with 1, but you finish with 2, they're going to notice. And they're like, oh, she noticed. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, something's different, right? Pay attention. And don't wait for the perfect moment. The imperfect, chaotic moment is often the one that means the most. So land there. Speak it and be specific. Number 2, protect what you praise in private by honoring it in public. How you talk about your spouse when they're not in the room matters, right? Are you one who goes and gossips with your girlfriend and says, oh, you will not believe what he did? Now, there's a difference if you're in a situation and you are sharing details and there's a balance here, okay? That's different. I'm talking about you going, you will not believe what he did, and you're talking bad or smack about him, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not kind, and we need to be kind. We need to be kind to our spouse. But we also need to remember that how you talk about them when they're in the room matters even more. Ooh. Celebrate them in front of your kids. When was the last time you told your kids that their dad was amazing? In front of them. Not when dad's getting ready for the day and you just kind of, rub his shoulder and say, babe, you're the best dad to our kids. You're awesome. I chose well. Okay, that's great. That's between the two of you. But did the kids hear that you say that? No. So celebrate them in front of your kids. Speak well of them to your friends. Let them overhear you saying something kind about them on the phone. Public honor is one of the most underused and most powerful ways to make your spouse feel valued. You know you feel valued when you're spoke highly of in front of other people. Now, I'm not saying you do it to boost their ego. That's not what I'm saying. But it is nice when you can really praise them for something or a position or whatever it is of saying, he's really doing a great job. Like he's a man, I would choose him over and over and over again. Right? And it doesn't have to be a big, huge, long speech. A simple, I'm really grateful for him. Or she's an incredible mom goes further than you think. So elevate your spouse, right? Protect what you praise in private by honoring it in public. And finally, number 3, show up in their love language, not yours. This is where celebration gets personal. Maybe your spouse doesn't need words. Maybe they need your time. Your undivided phone down, eyes on them time. Maybe they need an act of service, the dishes done without being asked, or the car filled up before Monday, whatever it is. Maybe you need to take it to get the oil changed, whatever it is. Maybe it's a small, thoughtful gift that says, I was thinking about you in the middle of the day. Celebrate them the way they receive love, not the way you prefer to give it. That is very, very tough for a lot of us. Why? Because usually the way we give, okay, think about this for a minute. The way we give is how we want to receive. So remember at the very beginning of our kiss, right? Celebrate on purpose. I asked you, how do you recognize your spouse now? What would that look like in this circumstance? Are you giving the way you want to be given to, the way you want to receive, or you're giving them in a manner that they want to receive it? Big difference, right? And if you're not sure, ask them. So for example, there are, you have this time of giving and Christmas is great and you exchange gifts and all of that. And my husband would say, okay, so what do you want for Christmas? Or whatever it is. It could be birthday. It could be anniversary. It could be maybe just because. And he'll ask me, well, what are you thinking of? And I'm like, well, I've got some ideas. And he goes, okay, well, tell me. Well, see, he wants me to tell me and then he's going to go get it. And I'm like, I want to be surprised. I want him to know that he actually put some thought into it. And then he figured it out. And then he came and he said, surprise, here you go. Now, it may look like what I want, right? Maybe for you, you want a beautiful new chair in your office or something like that. And now your spouse is like, okay, I know she wants something, but I really don't know what she wants. So you guys go out shopping and you go looking for things. And, he gets a taste of your idea and what you want for color and texture and all of this. And then the day comes where you're sitting at home and there's a doorbell and there's a delivery guy. And the delivery guy brings in the chair that you've always wanted. And you're like, oh, how did he know? Well, because he put time into it, right? You see the difference of just saying, I want the chair and I want it to be rose color. I want it to have, little dimples in it. I want to have, the pins on it across the board, whatever it is. I want it to be old fashioned. I want it to have a high back or a low back. I want to have a footstool. Okay, you could be specific about it, or you could go shopping together. You could explore together. You could be curious together. You see, curiosity allows you to celebrate your spouse. So couples, when you're looking at your life and what you're doing, you really need to be paying attention on how you are showing up in their love language. Are you giving the way they want to receive? Or are you giving in the manner that you wish you would receive? It's a big difference. Because when you give it the way they receive love, that's where real connection lives. That's where depth grows. And that's what you want in your marriage. My friend, marriage is a gift, but gifts that go unacknowledged start to feel like obligations. And obligations, they feel heavy. Don't let the weight of routine flatten the gratitude in your heart. Don't let it do it. Your spouse isn't perfect, and neither are you, and neither am I, neither's my husband. But that spouse is yours. You claimed him. You said, yes, I do, we do, and that is worth celebrating. You don't need a reason. You don't need a holiday. You just need to open your mouth, open your eyes, connect with your heart, and let the person beside you know, I would choose you again, babe. I would choose you again today. So guess what? Start today. Start small. Start on purpose. Celebrate your spouse. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Hey, baby doll, happy anniversary. I love you. And guess what? I would choose you again. Go in peace, my friends. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.